So first I started off with this piano right here. This is actually way simpler than it looks. First I started off with the bass notes, which is F, E, and then D. And I played some chords over it. F sharp minor, E major, and then D major 7. But I didn't play those chords normally. I chopped them up and added some variation. And these top notes, they are kind of simple as well. Right here you can just see I took these notes from the melody right here, from the chords scale, to add some on the start, so it's not like really quiet and boring at the start. And then these notes just follow the chords under. This part is pretty much the same, but the chords go in reverse order, so it's D, E, and then F sharp. And the notes up top pretty much do the same thing. They follow the chords right here, and then right here they just take the top line from the chords under. One trick to make your piano melodies sound way more realistic is to play with the velocities. Listen to the same melody, but with a different velocity. Oh damn, what the fuck? That's the same melody, but here I have changed the velocities and added them. A really underrated tip to get realistic piano melodies is to change the velocity a lot. Right here you can see that I messed with the velocities a lot. Some notes I just clicked them by hand, and I clicked randomize as well to get the more realistic feeling. Because when you play the piano, you don't press the keys exactly as hard. Another really good tip to add some realistic parts to your piano melodies is to strum them. You click Alt S and just strum them a bit. You can also mess with the velocities, as you can see that I did right here, so it goes up or down. That was the main melody of the loop, but here are some counters to add some variation. First I started off with this bass from Tri-Freeze kit, the one-shot kit. I always add bass in my loops because it's really good to use in intros, and then the producer also knows which bass notes to use. Another good thing about using bass in your loop is that when you send a loop pack, a producer is more likely to pick it because the loops always sound better with bass. Then I did the vocals. I went to the arcade bank hook and took on the filters, female vocals, and phrases. When I use vocals, I always like to use phrases because it makes the sample more catchy. When I hear this sample now, I actually sing along to it. Usually vocals sound pretty bad alone, so you have to add a lot of ambience and a lot of filtering to make it sound good. Right here is what it sounds like dry. Yeah, not that pretty. First EQ to just filter out the sound. Then I added some reverb. I used Ambient, it's a free plugin, it's really good. And then I added some RC20 as always, a vinyl 3, turn down the noise. Then I added some Cymatics Origin, which makes the sound worse. It's what gives Drake the Drake feel, you know? And then I added another EQ to filter out the sound after the reverb hit, because it got some low end from the reverb. I also used some effects on the piano. It's just taking out some harsh frequencies. I just added some reverb. I did some minor changes. I added some reverb, I added some wobble with RC20. And I just made the sound less harsh. That's basically all I did with the effects. I also added some strings to fill up the sample a bit. Here's the pattern I played. So I added that to fill up the sample a bit more. Then we have our last sound, our lead. We just placed the root notes with some extra melody on top. I think it's going down the scale. Not quite, but you get the feeling. So when I finished the sample, all I did was render out all the tracks and stem them out. And then the full sample sounds like this.